सौराष्ट्र विद्यापीठ सदाए पावनकारी नाम, दरिया जेवी घूघवे अहिया जग विद्या तमाम।
सौराष्ट्र विद्यापीठ सदाए पावनकारी नाम, दरिया जेवी घूघवे अहिया जग विद्या तमाम।
जय हो जय हो जय जयकार, जय हो जय हो जय जयकार।
जय हो जय जयकार, जय हो जय जयकार।
Good morning, everybody, once again, and welcome to this Anusandhan webinar on research methodology and frontiers in science. Once again, I welcome you all on the behalf of Department of Physics, Saurashtra University, Gujarat Science Academy, and Essence Tech. Now, before starting our today's session, we have a very special guest today, and to introduce them, I would like to invite our PhD scholar, Mr. Hardik Gohil, to introduce our guest, Mr. Hardik, please.
Hello. Yes. Hello.
Yes.
Good morning to all.
Good morning.
It's my honor and privilege to introduce to our Dean Faculty of Science in Saurashtra University and youngest syndicate member of Saurashtra University, Dr. Mehulbhai Rupani. Welcoming, sir. Mehulbhai Rupani is the coordinator of many big project in our university, and it's very useful to our society and also students. He is a brainchild and initiated by project like Wisdom on Wheels, Premno Pataro, Hope. There are many big projects to organize and coordinate by him. He is also founder member and coordinator of UPSC Training Center, UPSC Training Center in Saurashtra University. The many students are coming for the UPSC training in Saurashtra University. So I welcome you all to behalf of the Department of Physics and Anusandhan. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. First of all, thank you very much for inviting me as a family and as a faculty of science team member. First of all, I will invite you all on behalf of Saurashtra University, our Vice Chancellor, Dr. Pethani sir, Pro Vice Chancellor, Dr. Desani sir, and all syndicate member. On behalf of also science faculty, I invite you all. आज का जो सेशन है इसके लिए मैं हमारे जो स्पीकर है पवन सर, सबसे पहले मैं सौराष्ट्र यूनिवर्सिटी की तरफ से और साइंस फैकल्टी की तरफ से पवन सर आपका हार्दिक स्वागत करता हूं।
थैंक यू वेरी मच सर।
आज हमारा सौभाग्य है कि आज का वेबिनार आपका धुआंधार चलेगा। आपका जैसा नाम है इसी तरह पूरा पवन चलेगा आज। और इस वेबिनार को ये लॉकडाउन के माध्यम से, और हम लोग वैसे लॉकडाउन में हैं लेकिन एटीट्यूड हमारा लुक अप का है, ऊपर देखने का है, और इस ऊपर देखने के एटीट्यूड में जो ये वेबिनार का आयोजन हुआ है उसके लिए मैं साइंस फैकल्टी की तरफ से प्रोफेसर मिहिर भाई जोशी, प्रोफेसर निकेश भाई शाह, चिंतन भाई, हर्षल भाई एंड जिन्होंने हमें सपोर्ट किया डॉक्टर तुषार भाई पंड्या एंड प्रोफेसर NK जैन GSA, उन सभी का मैं शुक्रिया भी करता हूं साइंस फैकल्टी की तरफ से कि ये काफी अच्छा इनिशिएटिव आप लोगों ने लिया है। प्रोफेसर, हमारे सीनियर प्रोफेसर, सीनियर टीचर्स, प्रोफेसर हिरेन भाई जोशी, डॉक्टर पीयूष भाई, डॉक्टर जेठवा साहब, हार्दिक एंड सारे यंग रिसर्चर टीम, और इस वेबिनार में जुड़े हुए सभी पार्टिसिपेंट का मैं आप सबका स्वागत करता हूँ। मैंने पहले ही बता दिया कि पवन सर की पवन बैटिंग में मैं सिर्फ एक स्टार्टिंग फर्स्ट ओवर खेलने के लिए आया हूँ, और उसमें 6 बॉल भी मैं नहीं खेलूंगा, 2 बॉल ही खेल के निकल जाऊंगा। और लेकिन ये अनुसंधान जो है वो काफी शब्द जो है ना वो ही मोटिवेट करता है, और आज के परिप्रेक्ष्य में तो काफी मोटिवेट करता है, क्योंकि कोरोना का जो संकट चल रहा है और उस संकट के अंदर हम सभी को काफी रेफरेंस हम लोगों को मिलना शुरू हो गया। अब हमारी जीने की स्टाइल हम सबको बदलनी पड़ेगी। कुदरत के साथ खिलवाड़ नहीं कर सकते, वो अब सभी को मालूम हो गया है, क्योंकि अगर खिलवाड़ किया तो पूरा विश्व को लॉकडाउन करके अंदर बिठाया जाएगा। ये एक मैसेज आज हम सबको मिल गया है। हम साइंस स्टूडेंट्स जितना भी कुछ नया आविष्कार करेंगे, लेकिन कुछ ना कुछ अनुसंधान साथ में रखना होगा, और ये अनुसंधान के अंतर्गत मैं आज अपनी बात यही दोहराना चाहता हूँ कि आप सभी रिसर्च स्टूडेंट्स हो, आपके द्वारा आने वाले दिनों में काफी आविष्कार भी होने वाले हैं, देश को काफी फायदा भी होने वाला है, लेकिन ये अनुसंधान रहे कि इससे कुदरत को हानि न हो, कोई भी ऐसी आविष्कार हमारी तरफ से न हो जाए कि जिससे पूरी सृष्टि की संतुलन बिगड़ जाए। और हम अभी तो 3-4 महीने के लिए लॉकडाउन है, ऐसा ना हो कि पूरी लाइफ हम सबको लॉकडाउन हो जाना पड़े, ऐसा कोई आविष्कार न हो। सो साइंस प्रमाण के साथ चलता है, साइंस मैटर एंड फैक्ट के साथ चलता है, और साइंस जो है वो आने वाले कल को जो आज की ना है, जैसे आज कोरोना की मेडिसिन अभी नहीं मिल रही है, हम सभी लोग प्रयोग कर रहे हैं, जो आज की ना है वो कल की हाँ होने वाली है। और वही होता है, साइंस का मतलब यही होता है कि जहां पे ना है वहां पे संशोधन करके उसको हाँ में कन्वर्ट। तो ये अनुसंधान भी मेरे हिसाब से ना से हाँ की जर्नी है, और इस ना के हाँ की जर्नी में एज ए ओपनिंग बैट्समैन मुझे बुलाया गया सौराष्ट्र यूनिवर्सिटी की तरफ से, साइंस फैकल्टी की तरफ से। स्पीकर पवन सर का हार्दिक स्वागत करते हुए मैं अपनी बात यहीं पे विराम कर रहा हूँ, क्योंकि 2 घंटे या 2.5 घंटे या 3 घंटे जब तक पवन सर की पवन चले हम लोग इससे बाहर नहीं निकलेंगे, और कुछ ना कुछ लेके निकलेंगे, वो मैं आशा व्यक्त करता हूँ। थैंक यू वेरी मच। भारत माता की।
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mehul sir, for your guidance and motivation always. Now, I would like to invite Dr. Piyush Solanki sir, professor in our Department of Physics, to please introduce our today's speaker, Dr. Pavan Kumar Kularia sir. Yes, welcome Piyush sir.
Yeah, thank you, Chintan. Good morning, all. First of all, we would like to invite and welcome Dr. Kularia sir. Kularia is working as senior material science group at Inter University Accelerator Center, New Delhi, since 2004. He has completed his PhD in physics and MTech also in solid state materials from Indian Institute of Technology, IIT, Delhi. He has been awarded for prestigious Fulbright Nehru Postdoctoral Fellowship from USA. Dr. Kularia has published large number of peer-reviewed research articles, around 130 in number, all in the leading international journals. He has delivered various invited talks at different ion beam in different countries, Singapore, France, Germany, Italy, Japan, Spain, and US. At present, he is an advisor to the International Atomic Energy Agency, IAEA, for the formulation of coordinated research project on facilitating the access to accelerators. He is the member of various professional scientists societies, including National Academy of Sciences, India, that is called NASI, and presently he also holds the position of Joint Secretary at Indian Physics Association. So we all welcome Dr. Kularia sir for his nice talk. Thank you very much, Chintan.
So thank you very much, Dr. Piyush, for such a nice introduction. Professor Rupani, Dean Faculty of Science, Professor Mir Joshi, Head Department of Physics, Professor Pankaj Joshi, President, Gujarat Science Academy, Professor Gajjar, Vice President, Gujarat Science Academy, Professor Jain, Secretary, Gujarat Science Academy, Professor Susar Pandya, Professor Hiren Joshi sir, Professor Nikesh Bhai, Professor Jethwa, and all senior faculty member, dear participant. So good morning to all of you. And first of all, I would like to thank organizing committee for arranging such a nice platform, and I'm again thankful that they have done wide publicity of this program, and I think more than 700 participants has attended this event. So I'm very happy, and since I am associated with Saurashtra University quite long, and I visited 2 times there, and I always feel very happy to visit there. So that is a really great place for learning, and thank you very much to all of you. Regarding today's talk, as Professor Nikesh suggested me that most of the students will be undergraduate and master student. So keeping in the mind that thing, I have planned today's talk. So title of my talk will be National Facilities and Funding Opportunity for Material Science Scientists. So outline of my talk will be like this. I have planned in the 5 parts. So first I will discuss the accelerator based national facilities. So these facilities are open for you, anyone can use it. So I will explain to what are the facilities are available at the national level and how you guys can be used that facility. Then in second part, I will discuss the introduction and overview of the IUAC program. So I am coming from the Inter-University Accelerator Center, IUAC. So what are the activities that we are doing there, that I am going to discuss in second part. Third part, I will discuss the ion irradiation facilities at IUAC, what type of accelerator that we have at IUAC and how you can use that one, that I will discuss. Then on the fourth part, I will discuss, suppose you want to use the ion beam. So how you can formulate the proposal or how you can use it. And then last, at the end, I will discuss, other than IUAC and other facilities, there are other funding agencies are also there at national level. So if somebody is interested, then he can also approach to them and he can write the project. So with this, I will conclude my talk. So today I am going to discuss about the accelerators. So first question is that what is the particle? So particle is basically, it can be electron, proton, positron, or even any element in periodic table like hydrogen, helium, lithium, beryllium. It can be positive charge or it can be negative charge, or it can be neutron also, like that. So these particles we are going to accelerate it. So for that we require the accelerator. So what is the accelerator? So accelerating a particle means we are just modifying its energy, means either we can increase the energy or we can decrease the energy, like that. So normally mostly we are increasing its kinetic energy. So a device, so for that we need to apply some voltage. So a device where some voltage is created to attract or repel the particle. So that is, we can say like as a, so in this accelerator, particles are normally gaining the energy from the voltage, and then we can get a very high energy particle. So simple example of the particle accelerator like that, you can take a battery and that you can connect it to the 2 terminals. And at the center, if you can put some electron source like that. So this electron will be, so potential difference will be created between 2 terminals, and then electron will be accelerated. So that is the simple, you can say this is like an accelerator, like just we will increase the energy of the particle. So these are the few institutes, few of you may already know that they are the particle accelerator laboratory in our country. So like you may know that RRCAT, Raja Ramana Center for Advanced Technology in Indore. So in Indore, we have 2 accelerators working, Indus 1 and Indus 2. So these are the electron accelerator, means we are accelerating the electron. And by using these electron accelerator, we are generating the X-rays. And then these X-rays we are using for probing the materials. So that is the RRCAT. You can visit there, and again I will discuss about this one. Then another facility that can be used by the university people is a neutron scattering facility at Dhruva reactor at BARC, Bhabha Atomic Research Center. So there you can get the high energy neutron, and that neutron you can use for probing the structure of the material or for other purposes like that. Then there are four another institute like VECC Variable Energy Cyclotron Center at Kolkata. So there we have again KEV energy ion implanter like that, low energy implanter, then IGCAR, and then is a Tata Fundamental Research Institute, TAFR, they have one Peletron accelerator, and then Institute for Physics, Bhubaneswar. So all these institutes, they are funded by Department of Atomic Energy. So they are DA Institute. Then in 1984, this one institute, that is Inter-University Accelerator Center, that is created by University Grants Commission, IUAC. And I am working here, and then again we have accelerator from few kV energy to few MeV energy. So I will, after that I'm going to discuss this thing, IUAC. And in recent year, few universities, they have also DST have funded some project, and these low energy machine they have installed in this Kurukshetra University, University of Allahabad, Central University of Bilaspur, Punjab University, Chandigarh, and Mumbai universities. So all these facilities, they are user facilities. So anyone who want to work in this area, you can approach to them, or you can write your proposal or like that. So they are means free of cost. You can use these facilities. So in this one is electron accelerator. These are ion accelerator. All of them are. So they are TAFR and IUAC. They have high energy, and these are the low energy machine. So now question is coming: who can use it? So any research scholar, faculty member, scientist from any university, college, NIT, IIT, or any institute or organization in India and abroad, they can use these facilities. And main thing is that they should have one research program or project using ion beam of energy ranging between keV to few MeV, or they have planned to use the synchrotron radiation or neutron scattering. If any one thing is you have, then you can approach to these institute and you can use these facilities. So I can give you one example of RRCAT. In RRCAT, as I stated, we have two accelerators. One is the Indus 1 and Indus 2. So Indus 1 is, this is electron accelerator, and energy of this one is 450 MeV and 100 MeV beam current is there. And Indus 2 is high energy accelerator. In this one, energy is 2.5 GeV, and beam current here is 2 times of this one, 200 MeV. And then this electron is circulating in this one, and then different beam of the coming of the X-ray beam is coming at the tangent of this one. And then there are different experimental station is like soft X-ray reflectivity, high resolution UV spectroscopy. Then crystallography beamline is also there for XRD or exhaust or like that. Different beamline is there. So you can visit to the site of Indus 1 and Indus 2, and there you can see all the detail, and then if something is useful for you, then you can write a proposal there. Then, since these DA institute are, they are not easily accessible to the university people. So then University Grant Commission form a one institute, that is UGC DAE CSR, UGC Consortium for Scientific Research at Indore. So the main aim of this institute is provide a facilitator between DAE and UGC. So you can visit to the Indore website. So head office of the Indore, and then they have 3 centers like Kolkata, Kalpakkam, and Mumbai. So main aim of the Indore center is to provide the synchrotron facility at RRCAT. So you can submit a proposal at the Indore center. If you want to use the facility at VECC, IOP, or TFR, then you can visit to the Kolkata center's website. Then you can propose a proposal there. Then Kalpakkam center is for IGCAR website facilities. And for the Mumbai center of the CSR Indore is, that is for the Dhruva reactor at the BRC. So you can visit to the IVC website, and there you can find all detail, means how one can use this facility or what are the specifications and like that. And you can approach to any scientist. So with this detail about these one, now I will come to the another part, that is from the my institute, that is IUAC. So Inter-University Accelerator Center, that I stated that it is funded by University Grant Commission, like that CSIR. and it was established in 1984. So this is a first, you can say, particle accelerator laboratory within the university system. And our main aim is to provide the accelerator-based research facility to the people who are working in the university, because these are very big machines and that cannot be installed in many universities or like that. And we are working in different area of the physics, like nuclear physics, material science, atomic physics, and radiation biology. In addition to that user facility, we are also running the training program. So we have a PhD program at IUAC, and every year we are taking around 10 students. Main condition for that, candidate should be qualified the JRF. And then we are not degree granting institute, so we are the registered guide of the JNU, the Jawaharlal Nehru University. For that, we are also running a in-house PhD program, so that detail I will explain to you later on. Then another program that we are running in my institute is MSc orientation program. So that is running around the year like that. Anytime you can visit to our website, and there you can find the detail about this program. So you can write the coordinator about this thing. And in this one, we will invite the MSc student, and then we assign a small project, and he will stay in IUAC for 3 weeks. And all the financial expenses for this one will be borne by the IUAC. Then from last 10 years, we also started this another program, that is the BSc summer training program. So any student who is in BSc second year or third year, they can join this BSc summer program. So in main condition is that students should have physics at the BSc level. Then in addition to that, we are also running the seminar, conferences, and workshop that again I will discuss in next one. Then another very important program that we are organizing is the acquaintance program for the user. So we will take the map of the country, and in that one, we will see from which part of the country less number of the people are coming. So for that, we will approach to that university, and we will organize one-day workshop there. So 2-3 scientists from IUAC will go there, and we will explain them what are the facilities that we have at IUAC and how you guys can be used that facilities. And then we also running visitor program, means any senior faculty who want to visit IUAC, then he can approach to our director, and then you can visit there for 1 month or 2 months in the summer or like that. Then I explained to you like this thing, if you can visit to our website, then you will find academic calendar. So in this academic calendar, all the activities of the IUACs are mentioned there like that. So you can see like this one is the PhD program. So in the winter season, and again, second one will be in the monsoon season. So 2 times a year we are inducting the PhD at IUAC. And then you can see we are also organizing some school like that, IUAC School on Material Science at the Sikkim University in Gangtok. Then again, we are organizing this school on ion beam material science at IUAC. We are also organizing this workshop. Every year, one of workshop we are arranging there. And then you can see acquaintance program. It may be somewhere, this one. So this year we are organizing this one in Goa University. So if you think that less number of people are there and less number of people using these facilities, so you can also approach to our director, and then we can also organize one workshop in your university. And that will be fully funded by the IUAC. So you can visit to our calendar, and then you can see this thing. In addition to that, we are also organizing advanced lecture series that is for the PhD student and young faculty member. Because in every year IUAC we are taking around 10 to 15 PhD students, and then we have 5 scientists. Mostly we are recruiting scientists after master degree. So then these candidates need to go 1 year training program, and they need to pass these 25 course modules. That is part of their PhD and scientist training program. So these courses are very advanced series, and mostly it will be taught by the senior faculty member, like either from the IIT, JNU, or from the senior faculty member from the IUC like that. This advanced quantum mechanics, that is Professor Ghatak from IIT Delhi, he is teaching. Then property of the solid, Professor Bose. And I am also teaching one course on accelerator and their application like that. So this one is 3-week course module is there. So around 10 to 20 lecture will be there. So any faculty member or any student who is interested, then you can approach to us, and then you can come there, and we will provide all the financial support for this one. Then I will come to another part of my talk is what are the facilities that we have. Suppose some faculty want to visit to IUAC and one want to use the facility, what facility that we have at IUAC. So as you know that IUAC is particle accelerator laboratories. So this building that you see, this one is a particle accelerator. So this is a 7-story building, and Van de Graaff generator is installed inside this one. So we are calling it as a pelletron accelerator, 15 UG pelletron accelerator. So 15 UD means we have 15 unit and we are doubling the energy. So that's why 15 unit double, and we are using pellet for the transfer of the charge in the Van de Graaff generator. That's why it is called the pelletron accelerator. So in this pelletron accelerator, this one is the ion source. So here we are generating the negative ions. And then the center of this one, we have a high voltage like 15 million volt or like that. So here we generate the negative ion, and this ion will be accelerated here. And then it will gain the energy somewhere, then it will repel it. And then by using pelletron accelerator, maximum energy that we can get for the ion is around, in case of lithium, it will be around maybe 50 MeV or like that. So further boosting of this energy, this pelletron will feed to the linear accelerator. This one is superconducting linear accelerator that we have. So by using that one, we can go up to energy of around 800 MeV or like that. Very high energy we can go for the heavier beam. Then in addition to that, we have low energy machine that we are calling as a ion implanter. So energy of this one will be in few kV range. So two machines that we have, one is the ECR, electron cyclotron resonance source. So by using this ECR machine, we can generate the negative ion, positive ion and gaseous beam like argon, helium. So these we can accelerate by using this one, and maximum energy it will be in few MeV only, few kV to few MeV. Then another source we have is scenic source. There we can generate the negative ions, and energy will be 100 kV. So these are the low energy, two machines are low energy machine. And then we have 1.7 MeV pelletron accelerator that can be again for the RBS. So there you can measure the thickness and all these things. So these 4-5 accelerators that we have at IUSC, and these are the, again I am specifically mentioning, these are the user facility and people are using from the university, and even from the Saurashtra University, and 2-3 faculty members, they are using our facilities. So just for completion, I will explain how we are calculating energy in the pelletron accelerator. Suppose you want to prepare the proposal, then you need to know what is the limitation of this machine. So here we are generating negative ions, means all the ion in periodic table we can accelerate by using this machine. So let us assume we are generating, here is ion source, we are generating lithium ion. So here we will generate lithium -1 ion. At the center, it will be maximum, it can go 15 million volt. Normally you can assume it is 12 million volt or like that. So suppose this one is at 15 million volt. So this one is negative ion and this is at a positive potential. So ion will be accelerated here. So in that time, it will gain the energy, and energy will be Q time V. So it will gain maximum energy in this section will be 15 million electron volt. At the center, then we put the stripper foil. So that stripper foil can be carbon or some gaseous foil. So that will strip the electron. So we will convert the lithium -1 to lithium +1, +2, and +3 like that. So now since this one is positive terminal and ion is again positive, so ion will repel it like this one. So again it will gain the energy. So that way we can double the energy or we can multiply the energy like that. So again energy will be Q time V. So total energy that ion will be gained is 1 + Q time V. So suppose if I am taking the lithium, then terminal is suppose my 15 million volt. Maximum energy that I will gain in the case of the lithium will be 60 MeV like that. Same thing, suppose I am taking the gold. So in gold, large number of electrons are there. So maximum I can strip up to 15 electron in case of the gold. So 15 into 1 into Tp. So maximum around 200 MeV gold we can get it. So like that we can decide the how much energy that we can get from this machine. And then we have different experimental station in this one like that. So these are the for radiation biology, heavy ion reaction, LINAC, material science or like that. So these are the different experimental station for different experiment. So this is pelletron and then different experimental station. I am working in this material science. So we have two beamline. One is this one. So there we can do normal radiation. Then this same pelletron beam we can feed to the LINAC. And then again we have another beamline for material science. There we have three facilities. One is the in situ Raman. Another one is the high temperature radiation, and third is the in situ X-ray diffractometer. So in situ XRD aim is this one is like that. Suppose you design some material and then you want to do know how this material will be sustained in radiation environment. So we will put this material at this there, and then we irradiate with the ion, and then we know simultaneously how structure is modified. So if it is crystalline material, then XRD is very good thing, then we can do it. But after some time, or suppose material is amorphous, there is no long range ordering. So in that case, we have another complementary facility, that is the in situ micro Raman facilities. And then another facility that recently we installed is high temperature irradiation. So by this one, we can go, we can generate the condition like core of the nuclear reactor like that, because normally temperature in reactor core is around 1000 degree, 1000 Kelvin or like that. So that high temperature we can go there, and at that temperature we can irradiate the material, and then we can simulate how the material will be behave. So these facilities are available in the beamline. They are the in situ facility. And another one is the RGA, residual gas analysis. That is very important for the polymer. So when we will polymer is bombarded with the ion, then polymer will be degraded, and some new species will be evolved. So what type of species is coming, that we can detect by using this RGA technique. So now question is coming, how one can use these facilities. So for if one want to use this facility, then one has to submit a beam time request form. We are calling BTR form. So in every year, 2 times in a year, we are inviting proposal for the BTR, and then we have a national committee, accelerator user committee, and that meeting will be held in this one is 6th and 7th July and 17th and 18th December. And these dates are fixed from last 30 years. So date are fixed. So and then you can submit a BTR form, and last date is this one. And then after that, if your proposal is feasible, then we will invite for the presentation. Then you can come to the IVC, and then you propose proposal before the committee. If your proposal is accepted, then we will inform to the principal investigator like your proposal is accepted. And then if your beam time is approved, and then you can request to the committee like that my sample is ready and my material is ready and I want to use the accelerator. And from the IVC, we will assign one person that will help you during this experiment. That is the process. When you will visit to our website, then you will find different forms like BTR 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 forms. So in this case, BTR 1 form is basically if you need only beam time, then you can submit this BTR form. So what is the inside this BTR form is that its form is only 2-3 page form. So mainly you have to fill your personal detail like name, address, and all these things in this one. In addition to that, you also have to fill what is your aim, objective, 1 page objective, why you want to use accelerator. And 1 page is scientific motive, this one, international and national status means what people have already done using these materials or these type of facility. So this one is the BTR form. Then suppose you are a PhD student. So in that case, you need a very large quantity of the beam time. So for that, you can submit the BTR2 form, and that form can be presented by the only PhD student. So in that one, we are expecting that at least 50 to 60% thesis work related to the particle accelerator only. Then third one is for the faculty member. So in this one, we are providing funding to the faculty member. So faculty member can submit a project. And since in this case, we are providing the funding, so then forms should be forwarded by the registrar and or the vice chancellor of the universities. So in this case, faculty will present the proposal, and then we will give him or her one GRF Junior Research Fellowship, and later on he can recruit that project fellow, and then project fellow will be work in collaboration with IUFIR for next 3 years. For normally we are giving funding for the 3 year for the project. Then BTR 4 is if in BTR 1, 2, 3, if their study is not completed due to any reason. So for that, you can submit the report, and without presentation, you can done it, and the committee will evaluate it, and then it will give you. And BTR 5 is, this form is for the high energy accelerator. BTR 5 form is for the low energy accelerator that we are calling as a ion implanter. So these form you will find on our website, and then you can visit there. If you have any question or query, then you can contact to any faculty member from our group. Now I will come to the third part of this one. So that is related to the, now you know the what the facility that we have, how you can prepare the beam time proposal. So now coming is that why you want to use this ion beam facility, what is the application or where you can use it. So why to use the ion beam facilities? I mean, what are the area where you can use it? So first thing is that if you want to understand the interaction of the ion and matter, so for that you need a ion and you need a particle accelerator. So to understanding the interaction process where materials are bombarded with the ion beam, there are few facilities like nuclear reactor. So if suppose some component in nuclear reactor we are going to install, they are made of the steel. So how this material will perform in radiation environment, that we have to test it. So for that we need the reactor. So like how the mechanical property of the material will be degraded when it is in the reactor like environment. So for that we will put this material in the particle accelerator, we will bombard it and then we will test it. Same thing for the whatever component that we are installing in the particle accelerator laboratory, in the spacecraft or mission that we are sending in the moon or like that, how the semiconducting device will be behaving in radiation environment. So in accelerator laboratory, we will create the radiation and that you can test it. Same thing for the radioactive waste management. The radioactive waste that is coming from the nuclear reactor. So suppose you design some material that can be used for the disposal of this high level waste. So container that you need to test it out like that, how this container will be behave if it is filled with the radioactive waste. So for the property of that container material, that you can test it by using ion accelerator. Then second thing is to modify and characterize the material of the new applications like that. So in case of the semiconductor devices, so suppose you have some material you can want to doping, you can make it P type and N type. So you can use the particle accelerator and that you can dope the doping very precisely. For gas sensor, nano patterning and biological system, you can use the particle accelerator. Then accelerator can be also used for the fabrication process like ion beam assisted deposition process like micro machining, lithography. So for all these purpose, if somebody is working in this area, they can use particle accelerator. So now question is coming, which accelerator one has to select it like that, and how one can decide means what energy or like he need it. So for that, mostly there are three purposes like that. Either it can be used for material synthesis or material modification or for material characterization. All three purpose accelerator can be used. So material synthesis, that you know that energy required energy is very low between keV to few eV to few keV. And most of the in university you might have seen like DC and RF sputtering system, ion beam assisted deposition system or ECR plasma system. So in this case, ion or accelerator is used, but energy in this case is very low. So that you have seen it. If energy of the ion is a little bit high between tens of keV to few MeV, 1 or 2 MeV like that. So in that case, it can be used for ion implantation, for doping or compound phase form, or if two layers is there, so then you can bombard it and by using that one, you can mix the interface. At the interface, you can make the alloy. So that is for the low energy if you want to use it. Then material modification. So in that case, we are dividing into two regimes. One we are calling as a low energy regime, another one we are calling as a high energy regime. Low energy regime means the speed of the ion or energy of the ion will be very low. So in that case, ion will mainly interact with the atoms and ion will transfer energy to the atom and some defect will be created. So that region we are calling as a nuclear energy loss, and that will dominate at low energy. But if the speed of the ion is very high, it is in MeV energy range, so then ion will not get enough time to interact with the atom. So it will transfer its energy to the electron. And then later on, this electron will transfer energy to the lattice like that by electron phonon coupling. So in that case, some defect will be created, that columnar defect. Again, I will discuss it. So for that, you can modify the materials. And then another way is the for material characterization like few technique like RBS or ERDA. So ERDA is very important technique by which you can detect the hydrogen, because hydrogen is very light element and it is very difficult by any other mean to detection of the hydrogen. So in that way, ERDA technique is very important for detection of this one. Then another technique for accelerator is PIXI, particle induced emission, or nuclear reaction analysis. These are the technique by which you can know what is the content and composition of the material and what is the thickness of the materials all these things you can detect by using this one. In IUAC, we have RBS facility, ERDA facility that we have. And then we can also use done this one material modification by low energy and high energy and this area. So now, as I stated you that energy loss process will be in two categories. One we are calling as a nuclear energy loss, another one is a electronic energy loss. Nuclear energy loss means speed of the ion will be very low. So mostly it will lose its energy with the atom by the elastic collision. And so due to elastic collision, maximum energy will be transferred to the atom. So atomic displacement will be there. And due to that, some point defect will be created. And this will be mainly dominated if the energy of the ion is very low in keV energy range. So if one wants to probe any property that is related to the defect, so that one can use this accelerator. Another one is the electronic stopping power. In that case, speed of the ion is very high, energy in the MeV range. So in this case, collision will be inelastic collision, and that will transfer energy to the electron, and then that lead to the excitation and ionization of the atom, and some column-like damage zone is created, so that mostly it will be observed in the insulator and even in the metal also like that. And this is dominated at a very high energy region. So this one is like that for high energy regime. So this type of damage zone is created, and size of this damage zone is around 1 nanometer like that. So it can be observed that people have created with ion accelerator some nanofilter like that. So you can take polymer sample and then you can bombard with the ion. So this damage zone will be created, and later on these polymer you can etch it out by some means. So that way precise 1 nanometer size pore size filter you can create it. Then now question is coming, how much is the range of the ion and how you can calculate this SE and SN, which one will be dominated like that. So there is one software is available, that is SRIM software. So that is freely available. So in that software you need to put what ion that you are going to use it, like hydrogen, helium, any ions. And what is the another thing is you need to put it, what is the composition of your material like. So for silicon dioxide, so you can put silicon here, then you can add the element oxygen, and then you can put the stoichiometry, and then you can calculate it. So by that, it will give you the like that electronic energy loss, nuclear energy loss, projected range, all these thing information that you can get. This software is freely available, so that you will give you roughly estimated about all these parameters. So that way you can plot it by using the SRIM data. So here you can see that in low energy, mostly SN is dominated nuclear energy loss, and in case of high energy, that you can see like that, this one is mostly electronic energy loss will be dominated. Same thing you can observe like there how they are changing with the range. Like at the surface, if energy is very high, then electronic energy loss will be dominated. So as we will go deep inside, then energy of the ion will be lesser and lesser, and at the end, if energy is very low, then you can see like nuclear energy loss will be dominated. Now another question is that it will also give about the idea means which energy you need to select it like. So suppose you are working on the insulator. So in case of the insulator, there is very less number of electrons are available. So these material will be modified with very low energy like polymer, oxide, spinel, or ionic crystal. So in this case, the energy required for creation of the defect in material is very low. It is around 1 kV per nanometer. If you are working in semiconductor, so then they have conductivity is higher in comparison to the insulator. So in this case, energy will be a bit higher. If you are working in the metal, so here the conductivity is very large. So whatever energy that we will dump it will easily dissipate by the electron. So for modification of the metals, you need very high energy accelerator like that. So in whatever area that you are working, according to that you can decide which accelerator you need and what energy you need it. Then in any experiment, there are another parameter that you can also play with, like other than this nuclear energy loss and electronic energy loss, ion fluence is basically time, means how much time that you are bombarding your materials, ion per square centimeter. So it is like you are bombarding with the 5 minute, 10 minute, 20 minute, or 1 hour or 2 hour like that. Ion flux is beam current, means how many number of particles they are coming per second on your sample. So suppose in example like that, in case of the polymer, if beam current is very high, then your polymer will be burned. So that way you can decide means beam current also. And then it has been also observed that you can also play with the ratio of these parameters. So if they are almost equal, which will be dominant and how the effect will be created. So these are the few parameters that you can play with during your experiment, and you can do a study like that. In IUAC, these are our main area that scientists in IUAC are working. So material for nuclear reactor application and irradiation-induced phase transfer. These are the my area that I am working here. I am working on material that can be used for disposal of the high-level radioactive waste that is coming from nuclear reactor, and if there is any phase transformation due to ion irradiation. So if somebody is interested in this area, then you can approach to me. Then another scientist, they are working on electronic sputtering, ion beam mixing, surface modification, surface nanostructuring, modification of material by ion beam, then response of the semiconductor devices, and irradiation strategy on thermoelectric material. These are the different areas that people are working. So you can visit to our website and you can contact to the concerned faculty member if something is interested to you. Then I will come to the last part of my presentation, that is the funding opportunities. So other than that, two institutes that I have discussed, IUAC and UGC DACSR Indore. So there another funding agency for these are very important for the student. So if somebody is not qualified net and there, it doesn't mean that he cannot get any fellowship. So he can approach to, he can write a project and he can approach to these funding agency like BST and SERB. So they are giving different type of fellowship. If somebody is working area of the nuclear material or like, then they can approach to the BRNS, then CSIR, DRDO, and Ministry of Renewable MNRE, then Ministry of Electronic and Information Technology, METP, University Grant Commission, AICT, and INSA. So these are the different funding agency. Student can write the project and then they can approach to the faculty member also. But if you are writing any project to these funding agency, these are the few criteria that you should always keep in the mind like that, because these are the parameter that any funding agency will be evaluate or like you will. First thing is the comment on the objective. So your objective of any project will be very clear, because many times I am getting queries from the student like that my project is rejected. So if your objective is very clear, then definitely it will be not rejected. So then scientific and technical merit of the project. So any reviewer, he has to comment on these points. So you have to work on this one. Then comment on the work plan, methodology, and time schedule. So your work plan should be very clear. It should be clearly specify the methodology, what procedure that you are going to use, and time schedule means within 3 years or 2 years, whether you will be able to complete the project it or like that. Then viability of the budget. So sometimes people with project very high budget or sometimes very low budget. So you should be careful like that, whatever budget that you are proposing for this one. Then another opinion is, it is asked from us is the opinion of PI's professional competence with regard to the project under review. So if normally we also think like that, whether PI is competent enough to execute that project. Suppose, let us assume that your area of PhD area is in the atomic physics and now you are proposing the material science. So means your domain should be almost same, then only success would be high. And then another thing is that comment on the other project that you are going to implement. So if any project that you are already implementing, you should also highlight what is the result and what you have already achieved in that one. So if you will work on these 5-6 points, definitely your project will, any funding agency or will be definitely successful. So now with this, I will conclude my lecture. So in this lecture, I discuss the accelerator-based national facility for material science researcher. And I also presented introduction and overview of the IUAC program, irradiation facilities at IUAC, and application of ion beam in material science. And at the end, briefly, I explained what are the funding opportunities that is available for material science. Thank you very much for your kind attention. Now it is open for, yeah.
Yes, thank you so much for this wonderful lecture, sir. Now we will start the question answer session.
Yeah.
One question from Rahul Kamble, sir. Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
Yeah.
Yeah, good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Very nice lecture and informative lecture for us. So I am from Department of Physics, Pune University.
Mm-hmm.
So actually, presently I am working on some ferroelectric materials, and they have some phase transition behavior.
Mm-hmm.
So could it be possible to study the materials phase transition behavior by using these such facilities?
Yeah, definitely you can do it like that. I explain in situ XRD facility.
Yeah.
So in that one, we can definitely do it. We can irradiate the material, and if there is any phase change due to ion irradiation, so that we can do it. That is not, and even we can go down to 20 Kelvin like that at low
Yeah.
temperature also.
Because mostly BATF3 based materials are there, and it is a temperature dependent properties are there. So is it possible to do this measurement with respect to temperature, that is XRD
We have low temperature XRD facility.
at IUC?
Yes, we have low temperature, so we can go
Okay.
down to 20 Kelvin. So at 20 Kelvin, we can irradiate the material, and then we can know means how the material will be behave.
Okay.
Then we can go from 20 Kelvin to room temperature like that. So in any temperature in between 20 to room temperature, and then we can irradiate it. So definitely it can be possible.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Yeah.
Yeah, welcome. Hello, yeah.
Yes, Mayank.
सर पहले तो ये मैं पूछना चाहता हूँ कि ये इरेडिएशन क्या होता है, ये समझ नहीं आया। इरेडिएशन
इरेडिएशन क्या होता है? इरेडिएशन ये होता है कि पीरियडिक टेबल में आप आयन जानते हैं?
यस सर।
एनी मिल आयन पीरियडिक टेबल में रहता है, हाइड्रोजन, हीलियम, लिथियम जो भी है। इस आयन को हम हाई एनर्जी से एक्सीलरेट करते हैं, है ना?
सर
जब स्पीड ज्यादा होगी आयन की तो किसी चीज पे बम्बार्ड करेगा, है ना? तो उसमें कुछ चेंजेस आएंगे, ठीक है?
यस सर।
तो उस चेंजेस को हम हैवी आयन से रेडिएशन से करते हैं, तो उसको हम इरेडिएशन बोलते हैं, है ना?
और सर एक
मेनली हम रेडिएशन का इफेक्ट देखते हैं मटेरियल पे क्या हो रहा है।
सर एक साई एनर्जी एस बाई एन ERG बाई, ये क्या होता है?
सिनर्जेटिक इफेक्ट। सिनर्जेटिक मींस जैसे मैंने बताया था ना कि लो एनर्जी है एक, तो केवी एनर्जी के अंदर, है ना?
Yes,
जब
sir.
एनर्जी आयन की किलो इलेक्ट्रॉन वोल्ट है, मतलब 100 किलो वोल्ट लाइक दैट। तो जब लो एनर्जी आयन की जब रहती है, तो आयन क्या करेगा कि एटम से कोलाइड करेगा, है ना?
Yes, sir.
और फिर एटम को एनर्जी ट्रांसफर करेगा, ठीक है? तो एटम को ट्रांसफर करेगा तो एटम इधर उधर भागेंगे एंड डिफेक्ट क्रिएट हो जाएंगे। सो दैट इज द वन केस। अगर आयन की एनर्जी बहुत ज्यादा है, ठीक है, तो बहुत ज्यादा
sir.
स्पीड जब आयन रहेगी, तो आयन क्या है, एटम से इंटरेक्शन करने के लिए टाइम नहीं मिलेगा आयन के पास। तब आयन क्या करेगा कि आयन की स्पीड जो एटम के जो इलेक्ट्रॉन है, सराउंडिंग इलेक्ट्रॉन, उसकी बोर वेलोसिटी के इक्विवेलेंट हो जाती है जब 100 MeV जब हम करते हैं। तब क्या करेगा कि आयन जो स्पीड से आ रहा है वो एटम को एनर्जी, इलेक्ट्रॉन को एनर्जी देगा, और उसके बाद में फिर इलेक्ट्रॉन है वो एटम को एनर्जी ट्रांसफर करेगा, ठीक है? तो ये दोनों डिफरेंट मैकेनिज्म है। तो इन दोनों का एक केस ये हो सकता है कि जिसमें पहले वाला मैकेनिज्म डोमिनेट कर रही है ना, एनर्जी ऐसे ली। दूसरी वाली हमने ये किया कि दूसरी वाली में डोमिनेट कर रही है। एक हम ऐसा भी ले सकते हैं कि जिसमें दोनों ऑलमोस्ट इक्वल हो, है ना? तो ऐसी एनर्जी जिसमें दोनों ऑलमोस्ट इक्वल हो, उस टाइम मटेरियल का बिहेवियर क्या होगा, वो स्टडी करने के लिए हम उसको सिनर्जेटिक इफेक्ट कहते हैं, कि जिसमें ऐसी की वैल्यू और ऐसन की वैल्यू ऑलमोस्ट इक्विवेलेंट है।
Yes,
ठीक है?
sir.
तो उस टाइम उसकी प्रॉपर्टी कैसे चेंज होगी, है ना?
Yes.
तो उस टाइप की चीजें देखने के लिए, तो मेनली जो हमारा एम जो इस एक्सीलरेटर का ये है कि कोई भी मटेरियल आपको न्यूक्लियर रिएक्टर में लगाना है, जैसे, या कहीं पे भी एक्सीलरेटर में लगाना है, या इवन लेट अस अज्यूम कि चंद्रयान जो हम स्पेस में भेज रहे हैं, तो वहां पे जो ट्रांजिस्टर लगेगा तो स्पेस में कुछ रेडिएशन होंगी। तो उस रेडिएशन को आपने पहले ही यहाँ पे ही टेस्ट करके देखना ट्रांजिस्टर को कि वो कैसे बिहेव कर रहा है, कि ऊपर काम करेगा या नहीं करेगा। तो उसके लिए हम क्या करते हैं, ट्रांजिस्टर को बीम लाइन में रख के उसको बम्बार्ड करवाते हैं आयन से, और फिर देखते हैं कि वो उसका आईवी कैरेक्टरिस्टिक कैसा चल रहा है या नहीं चल रहा है, वेदर इट विल बी सेम और नॉट। तो इस टाइप की स्टडी हम कर सकते हैं।
Yes, sir. We have one question from Kunal. Kunal
हाँ,
C. Yes.
हाँ,
Yes.
Yes, good morning, sir.
गुड मॉर्निंग। या
Yes, sir. Can we get idea about the displacement threshold energy from stream code?
no, stream code will only give you the information about means what is the energy loss per nanometer or like that. So उसके बाद में आपको लिटरेचर से ही देखना पड़ेगा, because you need to do the experiment. ये आपको रफली आइडिया ये देगा कि how much energy it will lose per nanometer.
Okay.
Whether it will be different for 10 MeV, 20 MeV, 30 MeV, 40 MeV or like that. Then you can go in literature and from there you can get the idea like that. So roughly that value that I mentioned it like that, for insulator it is very low, 1 kV per nanometer, roughly it can be 2, 3 or like that.
Mhm.
For semiconductor, it will be around 20 kV per nanometer.
Okay.
And for the metal, it will be very high. Mostly it is around 50 kV or 60 kV per nanometer like that.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Welcome, yeah, welcome.
Yes, we have a next question from Neeta Bishit.
Mhm.
Sir,
Hello, good morning.
well, thank you so much for such an informative lecture. Sir, actually,
Welcome.
I'm a PG student, so I
Mhm.
would like to know that in material science, when we talk about research, we have two different aspects like computational physics and
Mhm.
then experimental physics.
Yeah.
So people say they go hand in hand. So what is your opinion? Like, what research area it is more like beneficial to?
So I think every area is equally important because both one have importance like that. है ना? कि I cannot say like only experiment is important or only theoretical things are important. So it will depend upon your interest like that. So in which area your interest is more. So if you think that you are quite strong in mathematical things or in theory, then I will advise you that you can go for computational physics or like that. And if you think that you are good in experimental physics, you can do very good experiment, then you should go in this area. Another thing is that in experimental area, we need to collaborate with the many institute because all the facility we cannot have in one institute or in one roof or one laboratories. So if you are quite introvert, then I will advise you that you can do in computational physics because in that one you don't need many collaboration. So you can take your laptop and you can do some study on your in house or like that. But in experimental things, you need to collaborate with the many faculty member or many student like that.
Yes, sir.
So that is the thing like that. Otherwise, area both are equally important. You can go in any area. There is not any.
Yes. Yes, sir. We have a next question
particular.
from Dr. Bharat Makwana.
Yeah.
Hello, Namaste, sir.
Namaskar.
Sir, I'm working on the nanotechnology. So I'm making a nanoparticle in a form of solution or in form of liquid.
Mm-hmm.
And many times I have to collaborate with the people of physics and
Mhm.
making some chips and some magnetic property and many more things, some thin
Mhm.
film, and I have to explore this kind of area. So my problem is that most of the time I got the nanoparticle in form of solution, liquid form. So any technique or any easiest way to apply this liquid nanoparticle on a physics, or what are the opportunities?
So definitely in accelerator we cannot use this liquid because ion cannot travel in the atmosphere.
Correct.
So we are working in very high vacuum, ultra high vacuum.
Okay.
So if your material it is in liquid form, then our vacuum will be degraded and we cannot do the vacuum like that. So we need all the material in solid form only. Either it can be in thin film form or it can be in pellet and bulk form like that. So you can use spin coating or something technique like that. By using that technique, you can make the thin film. And then with the help of accelerator, if you can select a particular energy, then you can change the shape and size of the nanoparticle. So if any property that can be changed due to the shape and size of the particle, that you can modify it and you can use the particle accelerator in that case.
Okay.
So that way you can collaborate with the people in that area.
Okay. Thank you so much, sir.
Welcome. Yeah.
Yes, we have one question from Dr. Tushar Pandya, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you very much, Guleja sir. It was a very interesting and informative talk, sir. Congratulations to you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your
Sir, I want to know two things. We are
Yeah.
conducting MSc programs,
Mm-hmm.
and during the MSc programs, we ask our students to perform a dissertation work in the final semesters.
Yeah.
And many students are interested to do their project work and this dissertation work at the national institute.
Yes.
So I
yes,
want to know what is the procedure for performing dissertation work at your center, number one. And
Yeah.
the other question is that you said about the training program for BSc students.
Yeah.
It's a really I really appreciate. Our students are really interested. So you please explain me what is the procedure for applying this, and in which month they should apply for doing the projects work and the dissertation works.
So regarding this MSc thesis, so
Yes, sir.
normally we don't have program, but sometime we also accept the student. It is not a dedicated program for that one, but some student will approach to some faculty member. Then individual faculty member, then he need to take the approval from the director or committee like that.
Correct, sir.
But every year we are taking 2-3 students like that.
Correct,
So
correct.
that any time student can come for that one. He can approach to any time. And then we have different area like that for material science, nuclear physics, or like that. So if student have some interest area like in nuclear physics, then he can approach to that particular scientist in nuclear physics group, and
I
he can
see.
approach to that, and then he can send his CV and one recommendation letter from the head of department.
Correct.
And then, but in most important thing in this case that we are not providing any guest house for the student.
Correct, sir.
So for that, he need to arrange his own accommodation in the Delhi. But definitely, if student is good, then we can give opportunity to them for around 6 months or like that.
And I'm talking about some exceptional students. Those are really
Yeah,
bright, very bright.
So in that case, definitely they can approach to us, and we will give them opportunity. And second question, like for the BSc, that one normally we are inviting application in the month of like March or April like that. So this year, I think this week or next week they are going to open the applications, and we have maximum 30 seats for that one. And this program we are running in the summer, mostly in the June, 1st to 25th June or like that. And from each state we are taking roughly 1 or 2 candidate, you can say like that.
So what is the criteria for that, sir? What is the criteria?
Criteria again, there is not any fixed criteria like that. Simply like that from the Gujarat, from same university, like we are taking 10 applications. We got the team 10 applications. Then among 10, we will select best candidate like that. So there is not any fixed criteria, but roughly it will be uniform across the country like that. So we are not selecting all the candidates from the Delhi or from the Gujarat or like that.
Fine.
So that way, if from some state more number of candidates is coming, then definitely we will select more from that place. But we will try to make it equilibrium across the country like that, uniform distribution.
Sir, they are supposed to write some proposal for doing the training program.
No, it is not required. They just need to mention area of interest like that.
Okay.
So like it will be a broader area like accelerator physics, material science, nuclear physics, or like that.
Yes, sir.
And I think then they also need one recommendation letter from the head of department and or some senior professor or like that. That's all.
Thank you, sir.
Then
Thank you. Thank you.
1 month they need to stay at IUAC like that. Yeah.
They will provide the hostel accommodation for BSc, MSc students. I mean,
For BSc and MSc orientation, we are providing hostel accommodation, free food coupon, and to and free travel. So
thank you very much.
everything will be sponsored by the IUAC in that.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you very much, sir. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Now we can take next question from Dr. Sanjay Kumar.
Hello.
Hello, Sanjay ji.
Hi, sir. First of all, very thankful to you for a very informative talk because majority students are nowadays are working in the field of material science. So, sir, I enjoy your talk and nice explanation one by one. Sir, my question is that in case of the semiconductor optoelectronics devices, when we are talking about the multiple quantum well structures and the thickness of that semiconductor layer is of the order of nanometer range.
Yeah.
So how we can control that level thickness, and what are the facility we can extract from the IUAC and etc.
For that means if you want to modify that layer, so if you know the thickness from the by any means, like from any experiment like ellipsometry or something stylus.
Okay.
So according to that, you can decide the range energy of the ion.
Okay.
So roughly I can give idea like that. Suppose you are taking 100 keV argon beam or like that. So in that case, maximum range of the ion will be only 50 or 60 nanometer or like that.
Okay, sir.
So, and if your device thickness is very large, like in micron, 10 micron like that. So in that case, you can go for high energy it will
Hmm.
be 50 MeV lithium or like that.
Okay, sir.
So according to energy range will be decided. Range of
Sir,
line will be decided. Yeah.
sir, high resolution XRD will help.
We don't have high resolution XRD. Normal powder diffractometer we have. In
Okay.
IVC. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Sir, just request we can get your presentations in the because it
that-
will be very helpful.
Yeah. That I can share. No problem.
Okay. And sir, you have explained very informative information because many of students they don't know what are the facility characterization facility available at different place because they are running everywhere randomly.
Yeah. For mostly for MSc student, this thing is a problem. They don't have
Problem.
exposure. Yeah.
Because I am, sir, I have completed my PhD in the field of material science. So because of one sample to analyze, we have moved randomly and we have to permit with a couple of months ago.
You can approach to this IUC Indore. They have all the facilities. Mostly they are very advanced facility to in extreme condition like in very low temperature or very high pressure like that.
Yes, sir.
You
Yes,
can
sir.
also write a proposal to this Indus 1 and Indus 2. In
Yes,
that one they
sir,
have
yes.
XPS, XRD and all these advanced technique with synchrotron.
Okay.
You can
Thank you.
visit me. Yeah.
Thank you, sir, once again for your valuable time and introduce me and other participants. Very informative informations today. Thank you once again, sir.
Welcome. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Now I think we can take the last question from Mahata Oza.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
First, I want to thanks a lot for this informative lecture. Sir, I want to know that what is the procedure to apply for a 3 weeks lecture module?
Yes, that is you can visit to our website and you will find one email ID there like coordinator
Okay.
email ID.
Yes,
So
sir.
you can just write a email to that one and I think you need to write you need to have one recommendation letter from your head of department or
Okay.
your PhD advisor.
Yes, sir.
Or even in case of the senior faculty, some faculty member, I think it is not required also like that. So if you have
Okay.
some faculty member, so that way you can directly write to that one. And normally 1 month before they accept the applications. So you can visit to IVC. So for full year you will find the scheduling of that lectures. So for any lecture that is interested for you 1 month before you can apply to that and then that is the procedure like that. So during that one we will provide free accommodation, food coupon and as well as to and free travel to you.
Okay. Thank
Yes.
you. Thank you,
Yeah,
sir.
so any lecture you can apply. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much, sir.
Welcome. Yeah, welcome.
Yes, sir. Now I think we would like to proceed towards the vote of thanks, and for that, now I would like to invite Ms. Parvi Hirpara from Department of Physics, a research scholar. I would like to invite him. Yes, please.
Hello, am I audible?
Hello.
Yes.
So graceful and warm morning to the guests, Honorable VC sir, PVC sir, our special guest, Dr. Dean of Faculty of Science, Dr. Mehul Rupani sir, Professor Pankaj Joshi, Professor Pankaj Kajjar sir, Professor Mihir Joshi, Professor Hiren Joshi sir, Professor Nayan Jain, and all dear participants. No duty is more urgent than that of returning thanks, says Saint Ambrose. So myself, Parvi Hirapra here, research scholar, as Chintan introduced. I'm delighted to have been assigned the pleasant duty of delivering the vote of thanks on behalf of Anusandhan webinar on research methodology and frontiers in science organized by Department of Physics, Saurashtra University, Rajkot, in association with Gujarat University Science Academy and Essence Tech online organizing team. I'm extremely grateful to each of them. Also, our sincere gratitude to eminent scientist Dr. Pawan Kularia sir for his discreetly informative talk on national facilities and funding opportunities for material scientists. He has aptly shared today with us the details of charged particle accelerators, different accelerator-based national facilities spread over our country, and as students who can get benefit of them, details of various beamlines in detail, how can we access them, and much more. Research students, especially the research students like me, can open own way of ion beam based research. So it's really wonderful content from every aspect. We are obliged that you spent your valuable time and shared your knowledge on the same with all of us. Last but not the least, my sincere thanks to Professor Nikesh Shah, Dr. Piyush Solanki, Dr. Tushar Pandya, and Mr. Chintan Panchasra, and all PhD scholars who have been taking a lot of pain for the successful implication of this webinar. And concludingly, generous thanks to all the participants without whom this event could not be a grand success. Thank you. Have a cheerful day.
Thank you so much. Once again, thank you so much, sir, for your
Thank you.
guidance. Thank you, sir.